Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is RetroDog34, and in today's video we're going to discuss companions. Companions, as we know right now, are brand new to Elder Scrolls. They came with Blackwood Chapter, and we actually have access to 2 companions. Companions, if you've ever played any type of MMO or RPG, are usually some type of role-playing or some type of character that goes along with your character, right? So in Elder Scrolls Online, they introduced 2 companions. We're going to go ahead and discuss those in a little bit. But which is different from a lot of different MMOs and RPGs is how you interact with these characters. If you played like Baldur's Gate 2, or any of those games, they're going to play a little similar to how those characters interact. You're going to be able to change their armors. You're going to be able to have interactions with them. If you do certain things, they're going to dislike you or like you a little more. So that's actually one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, is how they actually progress with you. That's very, very RPG-ish. And if you're an RPG type player and MMOs are the game that you like to play, which is primarily with other players, but you want to take a break and want to play the MMO like an RPG, which Elder Scrolls Online does a fantastic job of doing with a lot of the storylines, you're now able to do that with these companions. These companions are going to be able to converse with you and interact with you. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up is Bastion. Bastion is the first character that we're going to see, and right now where we have to go is Deepscorn Hollow. Thank you to huge shout out to Fexer for that map. When you get to this area, you're going to find Bastion and go ahead and get that quest started. Next up is Mirri. Mirri is down here or up there in Doom Vault, and again, shout out to Fexer for the map. It does the quests are both kind of interesting in how they go about doing. The one I didn't personally like was going through Bastions. Bastions felt a little longer than Mirri's. Mirri's felt a little straightforward. So let's go ahead and talk about other things that you could do with your character. All right, so the first thing you need to do is figure out where they're at. They're under collections, and when you go into collections, you go under allies, and under allies, you'll have your companions. You can hotbar these characters. So once you hotbar them onto your wheel, then you'll be able to summon them at any point in the game, and that's actually really good. But the one thing you want to do is once you summon them, go back to your potions like I have it set up. All right, next up is the overview. This is where you see your likes and dislikes. The more the companion likes you. Next up is your equipment. You'll have a range of different type of companion equipment out there. There's all types. You can go through all different body parts that you typically will get for your character will also be equipped for your companions. So again, looking at this, you have your rapport status with your characters. Now, skills. Skills are a little different with your companions. They're not exactly how they're set up for your character. They're a little different. Bastion is a Dragon Knight and Mirri is a Nightblade, but they all get access to all the different type of weapons. So you get your Restro, your Destruct, and your two-handed, and so everything else. You also get different type of skill lines. So you get fighters, you get your mages and undaunted. You'll have to do those those quests specifically for them. Now, the cool thing is you could change how they look. So go under costumes, and you can change the way your character looks if you already have an outfit or costume that you want your companion to look like. So I just kind of go through different ones like I'm showing you right now, just show that you can select just a variety of different costumes for them, which adds a little flavor to the game. You can make them kind of look like you. Even change the way the coloring looks will actually match up really kind of cool. All right, next up, you can actually change the mount, so you don't have the basic default mount, you can change it to a mount that you want your companion to ride. So if you have a plethora of mounts like I do, you can just switch it to one of the mounts that you want your companion to ride. And that again adds flavor to the game. This is again going towards that whole RPG type of feel and kind of getting you more immersed in the role-playing side of Elder Scrolls Online. All right, next up, let's talk about leveling up and gear for your characters. Where can you do it? So the first one, number 5, I'm going to go count down. Number 5 is delves. Delves are probably one of the easiest soloable places you can go to. 1, get your character leveled up. 2, finish out any stories that you want to do within the game. 3, have build that rapport with your companion. You'll also find sky shards throughout the delves, all throughout Tamriel. So definitely look at doing your delves. If you haven't got all the delves completed in the overland area, definitely look into that. All right, next up, number 4, public dungeons. Public dungeons are another great way to level up your character, find weapons, and they're going to go ahead and drop in public dungeons from those bosses. Very similar to the delves I didn't mention, they will drop from the bosses. So if you're looking for weapons specifically for your companions, they're only going to drop from the last boss there. Unfortunately, in delves, you only get one boss. In public dungeons, you can get multiple bosses. So in some of them, you can have up to like 3 to 5 different bosses. So another great way of getting weapons and leveling. You also get sky shards in public dungeons, which is a great way to add skills. All right, number 3, dolmens. Dolmens, if you know, within Elder Scrolls Online, is probably one of the easiest way to level up your character, and now it's a great way to level up your companion also. And the last boss, just like the delves and just like the public dungeons before, as I was talking about, the last boss in Dolmen will drop a weapon or body armor, but it is not a guaranteed drop. From what I've seen, drops are supposed to be like 10%, but from what I'm testing, it doesn't even feel like that. It's feeling less than 10% for those type of drops. But again, that's just me testing it within the last week and seeing how well they worked out. But again, going back to dolmens. Dolmens are a great way to level up your character. 1, like I mentioned in my previous video, this is a great way to level your character. 2, you also get a number of different rings that you can deconstruct and gain resources for, and you can even take some of those items and sell them to other players. The number one reason why most people use the dolmens is for those ring drops and the jewelry drops. You could deconstruct them and get those resources and then sell those resources back to other players. It's a great way to make extra money if you're looking at doing that. So, well, why not? You're leveling up your character. You're looking for weapon drops and armor drops for your companion. Might as well get those rings and jewelry and deconstruct them and make some money while doing it. It's another great way of making money. All right, number 2, world bosses. World bosses are, especially for the core game, I'm not talking about any of the DLC world bosses, even though some of those are soloable. World bosses for the core game are so much easier to solo. They're actually really easy to solo once you get a character built up, especially at a high level. Once you max out your character and get your CP levels up above, I want to say about 11 or 12,000. Then you can start to see how your character starts to grow, and soloing world bosses becomes so much easier. Anyways, so when you kill a world boss, it has a chance to drop items for your companion. It also is another good way to level up. Unfortunately, it's not the quickest to do it, but there are ways that you can go about making sure that it goes quick. You can team up with another player. I would probably not go with more than 1 or 2 others because then not everybody can summon a companion. So definitely pair up when you do world bosses. That way everybody gets to maximize their XP and both of you get to summon your companion. All right, lastly, number 1, the best way is through dungeons. Dungeons, especially the core dungeons, do these on normal, summon your companion. Always make sure you summon your companion, and because they're hotbarred, go ahead and make sure you switch to like a potion or like a repair. Right? You want to make sure that you don't accidentally unsummon your character, because a unsummoned companion means no XP for that companion. So make sure that they're always active. So one of the best ways that I've found is going into, like I hear, Wayrest Sewers 1. There's 5 bosses that you can run in. If I remember correctly, they're easy. They're not too difficult. You could go through and beat them up. Rinse and repeat, basically. Once you kill off some of these bosses, go out, reset the instance, and come back in. One of the coolest things is this is only your instance. So you go into this dungeon, it's only going to be you, or like I mentioned with the world boss, your other partner, right? So if you run in pairs, makes it so much faster, and both of you can keep your companions up at the same time. That means that you can 2-man a lot of dungeons, and actually that's something that me and Sweets, as some of you know from my Twitch channel, we're actually thinking about running and doing, is some of these more difficult DLC dungeons, and maybe some of the other dungeons where we can 2-man them. So this gives a different variety in Elder Scrolls Online. Now it kind of gets into this whole different way of playing the game. It's actually I'm looking forward to playing this a little different now. All right, so with that, we've talked about the companions on, where to find them, where's the quest line start for those, and a huge shout out to Effects Life for those locations in the maps, and how to set them up as far as putting them in your quick slot. Now, the other thing is, which of the companions do you find is best suited for you? I'd like to hear back from you guys. If you could comment and down below, let me know which one did you find, Bastion or Mirri. I personally found Bastion to be the easiest to work with as far as synergy with my main character, my Templar. But I definitely like to hear back from you guys. Also, what quest line did you guys find to be easier? I personally found Bastion's quest line to be a little more difficult than Mirri's. Mirri's was a little more straightforward for me, and Bastion had me running. It felt like it was running around quite a bit. But definitely, you guys tell me which one you thought was better than the other one. But like always, I hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. And if you can, definitely hit that subscribe button and that like button. As always, happy adventuring, and Tamriel.